Welcome, everyone, to This Beautiful Life, the podcast. Every week, I interview a different person to discover who they are and how they came to see the world the way they do. This podcast is an attempt to counterbalance a social media landscape that thrives on dividing us into echo chambers where people who don't think like us become the enemy. This podcast is an exploration in the human condition. It's a practice in empathy and compassion. My name is Erin. I have had a life with many chapters. As a historian, as a world traveler, as a writer, as an actor, and now as an off-grid, homesteading, homeschooling, wannabe social media influencer, the one thread that has run through all of these lives is a passion to understand what makes people tick. In today's episode, I am very excited to introduce you to a remarkable young woman named Cali. And I would also like to remind you, if you're going to comment on this podcast, Cali and I are both real people. So try not to say anything in your comments that you wouldn't say face to face if you were right here with us. And with that said, enjoy. So, Cali, thank you for joining me for my second interview. If you could for me, try and tell me your life story in 10 minutes or less.
Okay. So I was born in Sarnia, and I grew up, I was kind of like a fat kid, and I went to Brights Grove Public School, which was like, it's a pretty like affluent public school as far as like public schools go. Mm-hmm. But it was like, it's right on the beach and everything, right? So it was like the like ritzy public school, and we lived in this teeny tiny little 1-bedroom cottage, and the bedroom was the attic. And so I slept in the attic with my parents while my dad was like trying to like get us out of this cottage that was falling apart. And then he tore it down and built the big house. That's what we call it. I don't know why. And
well, compared to the cottage, I guess it's big.
It's compared to like most houses, it's big. We literally went from this like teeny tiny little space with like clouds painted on the popcorn ceiling, like the most 90s, like, to this big like high spec. And he built everything for my mom, right? And so she was super tall, so all the counters were super tall, like all the door handles were super tall, the door frames were super tall, like he built it like all for her. And yeah, we moved into that, and then not long after is when she was diagnosed. So we moved in like 2006 or 7, and then she was diagnosed with breast cancer when she was 47, I think, something like that, and I was like 7 or 8. And then it was like about a year of her doing like chemo and treatments and stuff like that, and then she passed away. And then, like, right at the same time, I think, so Mom passed away, and, like, Dad and I are losing our marbles, and I'm 9 at this point, and I haven't been in school for, like, a couple months, because I'm just, like, losing it. And I, like, walked into my dad's office, and I literally was just like, want a dog? And my dad's, like, looking at this 9-year-old that, like, just lost her mom, and he's like, okay.
I will not say no.
Literally, he's just like, okay, sure. And he goes, okay, you can pick from, like, any one of these dogs, just don't pick the dopiest looking one. And I picked the one that, like, whose ears never stood up, and, like, he was kind of fat his whole life. And we had a cat at the time, and our other cat had also just died of cancer. It was not a sick year, 2009. And we gave the cat chemo as well. We were just like, it was uncool. And so we had this dog now, and this cat, and I'm like 10 at this point, or 11. And my dad like comes into my bedroom, and he's like, hey, well, question. And I'm like, hey. He's like, would you be okay with going to Singapore? And I'm like, I don't even know where that is. I don't. He's like, it's kind of like China. Whack description, but whatever. And I'm like I'm like being kind of bullied at this point, and like I've gone back to school like a couple months at a time for a couple weeks, and like kids are just mean, man. And I'm like a little fat kid already, and then like I'm also super tall, so I stick out like a sore thumb. My hair's like white blonde, like and I was then like the way I am now, so I was like loud and like opinionated, which like no one likes that in a 10-year-old, especially not other 10-year-olds. Yeah. And so I'm like being bullied, and I'm like being made to be a bully because people are like, I'm big, right? And people are trying to frame me as this like big, like obnoxious, like, so we're playing like keep away, and I accidentally like bounced into this one girl because I had the walking ability of a newborn deer and broke her finger. Probably your
brain and your legs.
Yeah, I was not very coordinated, and she like broke her finger. She sprained it. She didn't break her finger. And then her mom called CPS on us, and so CPS is in my house. My dad and I are like, leave us alone. Like, get out of here. And so my dad's like, do you want to leave? And I'm like, yeah. Let's head out. And within like 4 or 5 months, we're in Singapore, and I'm having like a really hard time adjusting almost and like making friends. Because I, at the time, like looking back, had undiagnosed autism, which like that would have been sick to know in 2009, 10, like, you know. But yeah, I'm like so socially weird, and like I am now, but like I'm okay with it now, but I wasn't okay with it then. And now I'm like this white girl in Singapore, and the culture shock was crazy, like, and we're in this apartment complex. It's like his company, like Lanxess at the time, is paying for it, so it's like ritzy, right?
Okay. And it's like in a normal part of Singapore, or is it in a part where like lots of expats live and internationals?
Singapore is kind of like lots of expats, and like there's places
I remember
where
the subway in Singapore has like 5 languages.
Yeah, and like the I think the main language in Singapore, if I remember right, is Malay.
Okay.
And then, or it's English and then Malay and then Chinese or something like that. Yeah. Like they have 3 like main languages. But yeah, so we like get there, and we're like in this apartment complex, and there's like lots of locals, and there's lots of like Dutch people, and like all these people from everywhere. But the one thing they all have in common is they're all affluent, right? Right. And so I'm in this apartment complex, and I have no friends, and like my dad is sick of me calling him at work because I'm not supposed to have my phone at school, and so I just keep getting in trouble for that as well. And he's like, I'm really sick of them calling me, and I'm really sick of you calling me, and I was like, okay. And so he goes, go down to the like pool, and there's like a kid there that's waiting to meet you, and I'm like, okay. And so I go down there, and I meet this little girl, and her name is Arden, and we hit it off immediately. We hung out literally every single day. She lived right in the apartment like across from mine, so it was like a big condo complex, right, of like 20 apartment buildings. And then so like I lived here, and then there was a sidewalk, and she lived here, and she was like at my house every single day in the summer, and we loved each other. We spent every second with each other all the time. And then when we moved home, we found out that we had been living across from each other the whole time. So she's been a pretty consistent thing in my life, and then I was her maid of honor when she got married 2 years ago or a year ago, and she was my maid of honor when I got married a year ago.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, and I adore her.
And that's so, it just takes one friend. Yeah. That's all you need is one really good friend.
And she really like gave me the confidence to like kind of stop being such a freak. And like I was kind of a freak. Like I'm still kind of a freak, but like
a wonderful one.
Yeah. But like I was kind of a freak. I was super like weird and standoffish and like not about people, and like I was really blunt too, and so was she. And I think we like kind of got each other that way, where like she would say the most out of pocket stuff, and like, what did she say? I'm trying to think. She said something in particular that like, oh, I got my braces off, and here she is, the love of my life. I'm so excited. I have my braces off. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna show my best friend like how cute I look with no braces. I've had them on for like 5 or 6 years at this point. She goes, your teeth are like really big. And I'm like, shut up. What do you mean? But like, it was always like funny. Like she's always like meant well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You didn't feel judged by it.
No. And because I was kind of the same way, but I wasn't. I was the same way with like everyone, and so was she. So yeah, she made friends really easily. I made friends really easily like after I met her, because I kind of like came out of like a little shell or whatever. And yeah, we came back here, and we lost touch like a little bit, but
So how long were you in Singapore for?
I was in Singapore for 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was like my formative years, you know what I mean? It was from like 10 or 11, I can't really remember, to like 14 or 15. And then I came back here for high school, and we realized, looking back now, like Arden and I just figured this out like a couple months ago, that we like came back, we had accents. Oh god, and they were disturbed. They were the yuckiest accents ever, because it's like a mix of like
muddy accents.
Yeah, it's like a mix of like UK like posh, and then like Australian, but then also like the Singapore local accent, which is it's the Singapore like locals have the most endearing accent. It's my favorite accent to this day. Not for me though. To like hear, yes, they're so cute. Like I love their slang. They're so funny, like so witty. Hearing it come out of my mouth was insane. And so people would like kind of jab at me, and I had no friends when I moved back, right? Because I had no friends when I left. So people would like jab at me a little bit, and I couldn't understand why. They tried to put me in ESL here because I couldn't take French, and they didn't have any other language
ESL.
programs because I was learning Chinese over there, right? Or Mandarin. And yeah, I came back, my high school tried to put me in ESL. I was like, huh? Like, what do you mean? They're like, we don't know what to do with you. Okay. Yeah, and then I dropped out in 10th grade, and then went back, and then I was emancipated because my dad and I really weren't getting along, and then yeah, I had an apartment with an abusive asshole that I lived with, and I was with him for 10 years, and then yeah, I went to college and did horticulture. Met my wife in the greenhouse when I graduated.
Oh, that's where you met?
Yeah.
Doing horticulture together?
Yeah.
That's sweet.
We joke about it because I was her boss, but
Inappropriate.
but she's a cradle robber, so it's fine.
So you were her boss, but she's significantly older than you?
She's not like significantly. I think it's like 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Because she's 31 and I'm 26. Yeah. So, but when we met, I was 20 and she was almost 26. So I was like, you're a coug. Yeah, that's it.
Good job. So how long have you been married?
We had our 1 year in September, so
Okay.
a year and a bit.
So very new.
Yeah.
You're still in your honeymoon phase.
We are.
Although you've been together for 6
We're at each other's throats all the time.
Yeah. So you used to date a man. So did you always consider yourself like bisexual or pansexual, or tell me a little bit about your sexuality?
Yeah, so he was a trans man.
Okay.
Yes, and he transitioned while we were together. Several years into our relationship, actually. And so we started dating when I was in 10th grade. And we dated until like 2020, I think. Dated. I kept trying to break up with him and he just wasn't having it. we were like legitimately not together for like 2 or 3 years, but he would still like get so jealous and weird, and yeah. So I've only ever I've been with men, hate them. Sorry. I've never like been with a man and like been like comfortable.
Okay.
And I've never, like, all my friends growing up were all men. And, like, that's how I see them. Like, I see them as, like, I love my friends. I adore them. They're all a little dumb. I love them. It's just not their fault. It's okay. I'm a little dumb. It's fine. But, yeah. And I've just never seen them as, like, hot. Or, like, someone that I want, like, to touch me. I'm just like,
Yeah.
you stay over there.
So you've kind of always known, and it's really...
Yeah.
So how did it feel when your partner transitioned?
It was very strange. And I started, when I would talk about my sexuality, I would start I started to call myself pansexual.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I wasn't doing it because that's actually how I felt. I think I was doing it to try and give some affirmation to him.
Mm-hmm.
Because it as much as he pissed me off and was, like, evil and horrible and abusive, like, I still cared for him at the time. And watching someone go through something like that is incredibly difficult. Like, not to make it about me, but but it's hard to see someone that you love struggling like that, like with something that you can't help. Like all I wanted to do was like help. All you want to do with the people that you love when they're hurting is help them, you know what I mean? And it's something so out of your hands. So I started saying shit like that and I don't know if I can swear, sorry. Yeah, and I started saying that, like, I was pansexual, or that, like, maybe I am bi, or, like, stuff like that. And I just don't think it was ever true.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how, like, a lot of our relationship went. A lot of our relationship was, like, me changing fundamental, like, core things about myself to accommodate this person because they were so insecure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really nice now being with someone that's, like, so sure of themselves, because, like, not dealing with that insecurity is so nice, and it, like, leaves room to just, like, focus on things that actually not, like, that matter as if it didn't matter, but, like,
but you're not tiptoeing around somebody's fragility.
Yeah exactly. Hello. Hello.
The adoring eyes that he looked at you.
Yeah, he's like, feed me. Hi.
Was his abusiveness consistent through the whole relationship, or?
A lot of it is gone for me. Like, a lot of it is, like, holes in my memory, and it's really, and I can't, and the gaslighting was so intense, I can't really, like, remember what was real and what, if I, like, made shit up. And so when we first got together, maybe, like, a year in, we started, like, bickering. And it was, like, this back and forth, like, and it seemed very normal. Because I had been in, like, a couple other relationships beforehand, one with a man, and one with another girl. And I was super young, right? Like, I was, like, 15, maybe, when I got with this person. So it was, like, very, and juvenile shit, like, just, like, being a 15-year-old, caring about things that 15-year-olds care about, like, not being emotionally developed, like, all that. And again, I was with this person in, like, very formative years when, like, your brain is solidifying things and, like, it's very, like, plastic, you know what I mean? Like, and so it started maybe a year in with, like, bickering, and then it moved to, like, I became very angry because it was, like, so overwhelming, and I was with this person that I didn't want to touch. Like, I'm not attracted to men, and he started transitioning, like, maybe a year in. He's, like, getting facial hair, and, like, he's wearing a binder, and, like, all this shit, and I loved it for him because I could see him becoming more comfortable in himself, and I cared about this person. But for me, it was, like, getting farther and farther away from shit that I was comfortable with.
Right.
And I think I started to get angry, and I do think a good portion of it was me. I never laid a hand on the kid, but it got to the point where it was becoming more and more, like, it started with, like, a push, and then, like, by the end of it, it went from, like, a push and a shove and, like, bickering and back and forth and yelling and, like, crazy shit to, like, actual, like, oh, my life is in danger, like, I'm in danger. And it was, like, strangling, like, ripping chunks of my hair out. Like, he ripped a chunk of my hair out, and I could, like, see, like, where, like, it was so, like, fucked up, and, like, blacking out, like, passing out from being strangled, and, like, having to go to the hospital with, like, broken bones, and I couldn't eat. Like, I was so in it, like, and I don't know, people always ask why you didn't leave, you know what I mean? And I fucking hate that question, because I'm just, like, so over it. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't leave. I was a kid. Yeah. Like, you know? And even when I wasn't a kid, he gave me brain damage. Like, shit like that, going through something like that, it alters the way that you think, and it alters the way that you perceive reality, and the way that you perceive love and affection, and I never, like, my dad wasn't an affectionate person, and he like, I didn't get what I needed when I was a child, and then the love that I was shown when I was an adolescent was fucked up. So why I didn't leave, I have no idea. I really don't. I don't have an answer. But, yeah, it kept escalating and escalating, and by the end of it, I was 90 pounds. And, like, this is right around when Monty met me. And I couldn't eat. Like, I couldn't, like, I don't know if it was the stress, or if it was, like, what was going on psychologically, or if it was, like, how much my body was in fight or flight all of the time. But it just, I was, like, dying, like, actually. Like, I was, and I couldn't think, like, because my brain was so starved. And so I would be in therapy trying to figure shit out and work through stuff, and I would start telling a story or talking like I am now, and I would lose the thought in the middle of it. And I remember my therapist looked at me and he said, I'm really worried. Like, this isn't normal. The way that you are right now isn't normal. And I want to recommend, like, the ER. Like, I want you to go there. I want you to be okay, because you're not okay right now. Like, something is happening in your body and it's not okay. And I didn't. I ate a donut, though. And I met Monty literally a week later. It was so weird. And I met her and I could eat. Like, it was very weird.
Do you feel like she is the reason you were able to recover then?
Yeah, to a certain extent. And I wouldn't even say recover. Like, I don't feel recovered. Like, I'm still, I haven't been to, I haven't been to therapy since. Like, I still carry all of that. And it's something that I really want to work on, because I want to have kids. And I don't want to raise my kids in an empathy-less, like...
Yeah. As soon as you have kids, all the little damages that you have in your body just get exacerbated.
100%. I know, and I know that, and I've seen it. And I don't want that for my kids. So, like, it is something that I want to work on, and I want to work on it for Monty, too. Because, like, I am kind of vapid right now, and I see it, and I understand it, and she doesn't deserve it, but... I needed time to, like, sit with it, I think. And I haven't had time to just sit and, like... feel anything since 2009, you know what I mean? And, like, this is the first moment in my life where I've been safe, and so I kind of just had to, like, sit with it for a couple years and like process it and like learn stuff about myself and learn what I wanted to work on and what I saw in myself. And now I think I'm kind of moving into a point in my life where I can finally like start to heal from stuff. Which is exciting and like terrifying. And
How did you manage to leave him?
It all happened in one night, it felt like, cause your lives become so connected, right? Especially, I was in a relationship since I was 14 or 15 years old. And by this point I'm 21. Yeah. And so our lives are so tangled together, and like, so when it all happened in one night, it was like so much had been stripped from me, and I felt so light and like okay, and like the other part of me felt like so empty and hollow. Like it's a very strange feeling, but and keep in mind, this guy and I are like not actually together and haven't been for a couple years, but he thinks we are. So I had fallen asleep on the couch. I wasn't answering my phone, and I wake up and it's late. It's like maybe 10. And I like look at my phone and it's like 50 missed calls, like just psycho shit. And I was like, okay. Then I walk by the window and I look over and I see the Suburban pull up, and I go downstairs and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, I live with my dad at that point, so my dad's downstairs. Takes one look at me, he flips his fucking lid, like he loses his shit. And he has the keys to the Suburban in his hand, and he drags me down the cement staircase by my hair, and like we had a gravel driveway, so he's like pulling me around by literally like my head, and I can see the car keys in his hand. And still my brain is so wrapped up in this shit that like my only thought is that if he gets in that car, he's gonna die. He's gonna drive that car, because there's no like block between the lake and the road on Lakeshore, right? And so my only thought is like grab the keys. And so I'm being dragged around, and I reach up and I grab the keys and I throw them, and it's pitch black outside. And that pissed him off even more.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually there's some point where he turns around and he's kind of looking for the keys, and I'm like, okay. So I open the door and my dad's sitting in the kitchen, and I look at my dad and I go, call the police right now. And he didn't hear me, because like he's an old man, right? He's playing his shit so loud on his computer that like he doesn't hear me. And I know he doesn't hear me because I know he would have if he had heard me, like. And he's like also trying to tune me out because I'm a teenager and I'm a little evil shithead, so he's probably like actively trying to ignore me. His parents show up, and I'm like, you're not the fucking police. You're not the police at all. You don't even look like the police. And they show up and they park. By this point, he's found the keys, right? Me didn't throw them far enough. Should have thrown them over the fence. He's found the keys, and I'm standing in front of this car, like, begging to get run over at that point. And I'm trying to keep him from going somewhere, because he's lost the plot. The kid has lost the plot. And his parents show up, and they see me standing in front of him, and so they pull their car right up behind his. Because, like, it's kind of clicking to them that, like, maybe I told you to call the police for a reason.
Yeah.
And so they get there, and they kind of assess the scene and go, I'll call the police. Thanks. And the police show up, and they grab him, and he right hooks the cop in the face. And the cops are, like, talking to me and, like, asking me if I want to press charges, and I say no. Me again. And the cops don't even press charges, and I just have to... He goes to the psych ward, cool, but he just got away with so much shit for so long that, like, if he'd been a little black kid or something and punched a cop in the head, you're going to jail, dude. But he just got away with so much shit. And the cop not pressing charges pissed me off so bad.
Why do you think he got away with so much?
Because
some people just have a golden horseshoe.
Because he was a minority. He does.
Okay.
Mind you, he does. He's got a horseshoe up his ass, 100%. And he thinks his life is horrible and so bad, and that his parents are these, like, evil, vapid people that, like, want the worst for him, and they've only ever given him what he needed. But I think some of it is people, you know, being tentative to minorities, which, like, is understandable, and, like, you want to be careful.
Minority as in trans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, like, I do think minority groups should be protected, and I think I don't think they should be given leeway, but I think they should be given a second thought, and like, am I doing this because this person is this, or am I doing this, you know?
Yeah. Because of what they're actively doing in the moment, or because of who they are as a person.
Yes, and I think he got away with a lot of stuff because people weren't willing to push that button, which I like, yeah, okay, but I don't know, like, the kid was on testosterone, you know what I mean? And, like, there was...
Do you think that's the reason he was the way he was? Or do you think he was born that way?
I believed that for so long. That, like, this switch kind of flipped when he started taking the testosterone. I wanted to believe that so badly. And I wanted to believe that I was also, like, some kind of cause. Like, that I had kind of set something off in him, and that, like, we were so incompatible because we were so different and had such different ways of communicating that, like, I was doing this to him and, like, making him this way. You know what I mean? But, like, in retrospect, with, like, a fully developed brain, absolutely not. There is no amount of anything... He could have boofed 40 pounds of cocaine, and there's no shot that a person could treat another person that way unless...
There was something underlying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm at a point where I don't care what it was. I don't care why it was. I would never do that to another person.
Nothing justifies it.
Nothing justifies it. Like, I went through awful shit. Like, it was awful. Like, terrifying. Yeah. And nothing justifies it.
And after that night, he left you alone?
After that night, he went to the psych ward. The cops gave us a no contact order. I was like, yes. And my dad had, like, no idea what was going on, and I didn't want him to. You know, because, like, there's shit that'll break your parents' hearts. Shit that, like, even if he knew, what would he have done? So I did everything I could. He came out and saw the cops, and he was like asking me questions. I was like, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Like we were no contact for so long, and like he would text me and I wouldn't reply. It was lovely.
How's your relationship with your dad now?
It was good for a while. 'Cause life was very normal and constant. And he's going through something really difficult right now. And he can't deal with it. He's not very emotionally grown, I can't lie. So he's kind of pushed everyone away, and he's being horrible.
That's too bad.
And the other day we got into this big tiff. And he like called me a bunch of names. Like, yeah, like shit that I would never say to my own kid.
Yeah.
And then I noticed, this is so nuts. I noticed the next fight that Monty and I got into, and like this shit that my dad has said to me was like ringing in my head over and over and over again, and it was just like on replay constantly, on a loop, these names that he called me. The next fight that Monty and I got into, I called her one of them. And she looked at me and said, you just called me exactly what your dad called you. And I could feel it as it was coming out of my mouth. And like, that's what I mean when I'm like, I'm not having kids in like the state that I'm in right now. Like, they don't deserve that. Like, that stupid shit that like people that are in therapy put on like shirts and shit, like hurt people, like. But it was like such
unavoidably true.
Yeah, but it was like such an eye-opening thing. It's almost like I was watching myself in third person, and I felt like gross about it. Like I absolutely like it was so uncool, and I never wanted to be the person that would like call my partner names at all, let alone something that I know hurt me so much. But yeah, it's the nature versus nurture thing is very much prevalent right now. It's kind and there's a song that I found like a year ago, and it's called Silver Spoon. It's by Aaron LeCount, I think. But it's basically about how like being a kid in a family that like treats you well and respects you and cares for you and gives you the experience that like a kid should have. Those people end up being gentle and soft and kind and like emotionally well off and able to deal with the world in a healthy way. And then the people that had to like fight for love or didn't get it or didn't get enough of it or like were treated poorly or like all of that just end up like one step below everyone all the time. And like, so now being like someone that has been hurt and hurting other people, like that's no way to get people to like flock to you to love you. Like that's not, and like I know other people like me, and like that's what we need people around us that like love us and can be compassionate and like all that shit. But no one wants to do that for a person that's being evil, like acting evil. And so it's these people that were already loved that are going to continue to be loved because that's how it should work, because they're kind and nice, and then these people that like me that have just had their brains punched by life, and it's not an excuse, it's just what happened, like that end up being kind of like evil and not, it's not like I don't want sympathy, but like that's the only word I'm gonna use because I don't have any interest in thinking hard enough to come up with another one. But like, yeah, it's almost like sympathy where like you want people to, yeah, kind of, you want people to feel that for you, but it's so hard for them to feel it when you're just like such a prick, which I am. Like I'm a prick. It's sorry, like, but yeah, and it's gonna take a lot to, you know. Yeah.
I wouldn't think of you as a prick, but I don't know you that well. So you're quite left-wing. Yes, like vocally debating people on the internet.
Absolutely. I don't even call myself like left wing anymore. I call myself a leftist because I think the like name liberal has been like tainted.
So how would you define your politics?
I care about people. I care about people as a whole, and I care about the people that aren't cared about enough. And I believe in equity, not equality. And I want to see a world where everyone gets what they need. And I think that's like where it comes from. I don't know like what radicalized me. People ask that all the time. I have like no idea what it was. I think it was like maybe basic compassion and empathy for other human beings. But yeah, and people think of liberalism as like this goofy blue-haired nipple ring like baloney, and like I think people that care about people are just maybe more creative. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know where that stereotype came from, but yeah, I like it's weird to even call myself something because it just feels like something that everyone should feel. It's weird to have your political beliefs bleed so far into just like your morals. It feels like something everyone should be on board with. Yeah, you know.
Do you think, I would say probably a lot of the times the people who have suffered the most are the ones who are the most empathetic to people who have suffered. When I drop off the scene and I'm not in touch with people, it's usually because I'm in a bad place. So I notice when other people drop off the scene and stop being social, and I check in on them because I know what that's like. Whereas other people who never struggle, they never drop off, they don't know what the drop off means. Right?
Yeah. I think it's really strange, and I talk about this all the time to Monty, because I grew up with very little empathy, and it's not that my dad was like unempathetic to people. He was very empathetic to like causes or like people that were being undermined or like hurt by systems almost, and animals like that. Those were the two examples of empathy that I saw as a kid. I didn't get it. Like I didn't experience empathy from a parent, from my mom, but that was very early, and then I didn't have her anymore. So I talk about how I don't have a lot of empathy. I would love to, because like I want to be able to feel that, but I don't have a lot of empathy for like my friends, and it's very strange to experience. I don't have a lot of empathy for my friends, and I don't have a lot of empathy for like even my partner. Like I can see that she's hurting and I want to help her because I can see that she's hurting and I love her, but I can't feel it the same way that I can feel empathy for a group or like a people being undermined or a people being hurt. Like the shit that's happening in Sudan right now, the shit that's happening in Palestine, like all of that shit will bring me to tears in an instant. Like if I see a video from one of these families in Palestine or one of these girls in Sudan, like it absolutely annihilates me immediately. And like I can like feel everything that they're trying to get me to feel. You know what I mean? But with partners and with friends and with people that I care about deeply, it's much harder to like feel that empathy. It's very strange.
That is interesting.
Yeah. But and it's not like I want the best for them always. Like I love them. I adore, like the people in my life are so important to me. They're like one of the most important things in my life to me is the people that like your found family. But it's hard to feel the same empathy for them that I can feel for like that other stuff.
Do you wonder if you've built a bit of a wall to protect you because they are so close? Something like that?
Maybe. It could be something like that. But like again, like I think a lot of it was just that like when I would make bids for empathy, make bids to try and get the people in my life that were supposed to care about me and like show me that they cared about me, it never really happened. So I never really, like, saw that. I never saw that, like, closeness of, like, oh, I care about you, so this is, like, I feel this for you. I always was shut down. So, like, if I'm crying, the people that are supposed to care about me are like, what, shut up, like, don't cry, like, this is stupid, or, like, I get passionate about something, and they're like, calm down, like, it's always been shut down for me, and I see myself, like, mirroring that all of the time, and it drives me nuts, like, because I can see it happening, and I want to feel what I'm supposed to feel so badly, but I just don't.
You locked it in a little room in the back of your brain.
I think so. And, like, you can't learn, or people always say you can't learn empathy, you know what I mean? And, like, I kind of believe that, because, like, you've got these freaks that are just willing to do anything and everything to, like, grow themselves and grow their own power and their own finances and, like, all that shit. I don't think they're capable of learning empathy. Like, and it's not that I completely lack empathy. Like, I'm not, like, a sociopath. Like, I care so much about these people. And I care about my people, too. Like, I care deeply about them. I just can't... I feel it in ways that, like, aren't, like, normal. And it's so irritating.
It's like it's not a safe empathy, so you just don't.
Yeah. And because I've always been a super sensitive person. And I think a lot of it was that I was so sensitive that sensitivity was kind of, like, shut down. And I think it went so far that now, if I'm gonna hurt for you, it hurts so bad.
Yeah.
And
so you just
so I'm just not gonna.
Yeah, you build a wall and you get across it, and finding out how to dismantle that is terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest, but it would be nice to be normal.
Normal? What is normal anyway? It's a lie.
Yeah.
Atheist?
Yeah, I call myself an agnostic atheist because, like, I don't know and I don't care. I don't know and I don't believe. Okay. It just isn't logical to me, and, like, the burden of proof lies on them. You know what I mean? And then they go, well, my proof is faith. That's not proof. That's not proof. It's not. And they go, well, the Big Bang. You've stumbled upon science. Well done. Like, and I just can't get on board. I can't get on board. And to know so much about the background of religion, especially Abrahamic religion, to know that it was just some rich dude that was a man and was taught to write, and how it was almost certainly used as a way to pacify people, to disempower them, to give them a set of morals that a system believed in, and to turn people into these little soldiers, like, and to know that that's, like, where it kind of comes from and why it all kind of originated, that and, like, humanity's need for there to be something. I just can't hop on that train, dog. I'd love to. Must be nice.
Yeah. What do you think? You say must be nice. What do you think would be nice about being religious?
It's a pacifier. And it is. Like, and that's okay. Like, for people that are religious, more power to you. Like, if you need to believe in something, I don't blame you. It's fucking scary.
Yeah.
Like, to just know that when you're dead, there's nothing.
Yeah.
That's scary. And it's hard to grapple with, and to have something to base your life on, to have something to work towards, something to like put your whole heart and soul into. Sure, go nuts, as long as it makes you a better person, and you're not using it as an excuse to be a dick. I'm on board. Absolutely, as long as you're not using it as an excuse to oppress people or treat them like shit, I'm right on board with you. You do what you need to do. Like, it must be nice. That's what I mean. Like, to have that kind of, like, drive and that sense that, like, everything's going to be okay. That's what it is.
Someone has a plan and someone's watching over.
Yeah, it's one big everything's going to be okay. Yeah. And someone is looking out for you. Some sky daddy is looking out for you.
Were you raised with religion?
Not... My Nana was incredibly Christian. Baptist, I think, actually. My mom's mom. And so when she would babysit me, I'd be in Sunday school, and like my whole family, like my mom and my dad were both atheists. And my dad was like a super atheist. Like my dad dislikes organized religion. I also dislike organized religion, but like it almost like offends him a little bit. And I think he has a little bit of religious trauma. But yeah, I would go to Sunday school and just be the most uncomfortable in the whole world. I would have no idea what was going on. These like little children around me are talking like they're 110, talking about how their souls are going to be saved and how Moses did this and blah blah blah, and I'm like watching it all happen like a zoo, and it was just so weird. So I grew up in like an institution, like a religious institution, hating it the whole time. There was not one moment that I enjoyed it. I went into like the big people part a few times where they were all like singing their spooky stuff and like all in unison, the hymns. I hated that too. But yeah, it just really wasn't for me. It gave me the heebie-jeebies, and I don't know if it was the way that I was raised or if it really just like doesn't sit well with like who I am.
So there was never a point where you believed?
No, maybe right after Mom died, I wanted to really badly. 'Cause like, what the hell are you gonna tell a 9-year-old whose mom just died? Like,
well, how did they? How?
Oh God, I went. So at St. Joe's Hospice, they had this group, a youth group kind of. A bunch of sad kids whose parents just died. They would put us in the basement of the hospice, and we would just like talk, and it was supposed to be like therapeutic or something.
Yeah.
God, how miserable. Just me and 20 other super sad children, all my age. They made me a birthday cake once. Again, fat kid, the birthday cake was a pig. Let's catch up. But yeah, and I did like quite a bit of therapy. My dad had me in like one-on-one therapy. And mostly we just kind of did it like I spent a lot of time alone as a kid, and I just kind of processed it as much as a 9-year-old brain could process it by myself. And that's the closest I've ever come to like believing, I guess, or like even having an urge to believe, like wanting to. And I tried so hard to like have something that made sense and comforted me, and I just couldn't get there. Because it sounded so baloney to me, and I couldn't get there.
How do you think of your mom now? How have you managed to build an image of her in your mind, having lost her so young?
It's crazy because like my mom was my best friend. Like I made her sleep in my bed, my child bed, with me until literally the day she died. Like I couldn't sleep away from her. Like I had such separation anxiety from her. Like I was obsessed with her. I loved her. And I don't know, I forgot the question kind of a little bit.
How do you build an image of her? How do you picture
her? Okay. So like a year ago, I had always been telling Monty how like it's so strange to like have been so obsessed with this person and spend so much time with them, and then I couldn't remember what she sounded like. Like I couldn't remember her voice at all, and like I couldn't remember like her mannerisms and stuff like that. And like I know that I know them because like again, and we're so the same. Like I think that's why why I make a lot of my family uncomfortable is because it's like looking at her and it's hard for them.
Yeah.
And I just was super weirded out by the fact that I couldn't remember my mother's voice, and it was like kind of make me butthurt a little bit. And I would like talk to Monty about it sometimes, and especially like the grief never goes away. Like there's nights where I'm 26 years old and I will like sit here and cry for my mother, like but we went to my grandma's house, and her husband, who died before my mom, they called him Video Bob because he was a vet. He worked on the planes in World War II, and he had like a little bit of money, and they were like pretty well off, and my grandma was a teacher, so they had one of like the first video cameras, like portable, like consumer-made video cameras. So they called him Video Bob. And he had videos of everything. And we found, like, these, like, walls of, like, built-in shelves that were just all, like, these little tapes. And Monty came upstairs and she was like, I found this. And it had my mom's name on it. And we're, like, looking at it. We're like, oh. Damn. Okay. So we stole a whole video camera that is so ancient. And found a way to hook it up to the TV. It really didn't want to be hooked up to anything. It was so crusty and weird, and all the things were wrong, and there was no way to plug anything in. We were struggling. We screwed with it for like 3 days. We finally got something to play, and I heard my mom's voice, and Monty just like looked at me, and I was scream crying, just like freaking fully out. And like I'm watching my mom hold me, and like I'm seeing her like move around and not just like a picture. And it was so surreal, and there's so little of it. Like, I think there was, like, maybe 1 or 2 tapes, and it's, like, mostly me being, like, a chubby little creature. And, like, my grandparents are, like, goofing around with their little fat baby and, like, all that stuff. And, like, my mom would, like, come pick me up from their house, and they would be recording it. And so it was, like, little snippets, little tiny, like... And it's the first time I've, like, heard my mom's voice since 2009. And it was so crazy. Yeah.
That's lovely. That someone had the videos.
Right?
That's such a gift.
I know. It was so exciting. My grandma was like, are you going to give me back my camera? I was like,
nope.
I'm not. I am
Never.
not. You don't even know how to use it, lady. You can't even see. It's mine now.
What do you think is your most controversial opinion?
We need to shut the fuck up about the trans people in women's sports thing.
Yeah.
It's not an issue. It's really a non-issue. And once we start sex checking to make sure that female athletes are biologically female, where does it end? Where does it end? And who's going to be giving the okay for the sex check that we're going to have to give? That we're going to have to administer. Who's going to be saying, yep, this person's a girl. This person is a biological woman. Who's going to be doing that? And why should they have that power? So we're going to disempower more women, disempower more female athletes, because one trans person every couple years shows up in a woman's sport. Cope. The cope is crazy. This is such a right-wing talking point right now. And it's driving me nuts, because I feel like if they just sat there and really thought about what they were saying for a couple minutes, they might get there. But they just don't.
What do you think is the biggest problem with the trans debate in general? Having a fair amount of experience firsthand.
It's just a non-issue.
Yeah.
It's just a non-issue. Like, okay, you don't want men in women's bathrooms. You're not afraid of trans people. You're not afraid of trans people in women's bathrooms. You're afraid of men.
And they do that anyway.
They do
I've
it anyway.
been followed by a man into a bathroom.
I've been followed by countless men into the train, into my house. I've been followed by only men.
Yeah.
Never been followed by a woman.
They were never wearing a dress.
No, never one time. Like, it's just such a non-issue. What is in people's pants is none of your business and affects you in this many ways. Like, it's just... It doesn't matter, and you're making it an issue because you're a bigot. It's a non-issue. Why do you care? Why are you so obsessed with people's genitals? Like, get over it. It drives me nuts, and I'm sick of it being a talking point. And it's all it... I think the Orange Man did something, like, recently that's, like, reawoken this argument for the right wing. And I just can't take it anymore.
The amount of debate on the subject is disproportionate to the size of the problem.
It is, and it's because they're so bigoted that it consumes so much of their thoughts, this demographic of people, that, hell, they may never meet one.
Maybe, do you think that's part of the problem, that they have never met?
Oh, 100%. There's people that I know good and well are so homophobic. And not only homophobic, but like outspoken, scary homophobia. Especially on the internet. Like these dudes spewing psycho shit about how we should kill them and like blah 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 and just like nutty stuff. And then you meet them face to face and they're meek little shitheads. You've got no pot to piss in. You've got no opinion. You're a scared little boy. Like, when I'm in front of your face, when a trans person is in front of your face, when an intelligent woman is in front of your face, you're terrified. And you're terrified because you're intimidated. Like, and you don't know. You have such a gap in your knowledge as a human being that, like, this thing is so foreign to you that you have no choice but to hate it. Grow up. Like, it doesn't make you a better person. It doesn't make your opinions cool. It just makes you look kind of silly. And it drives me nuts.
There was something I was going to say in there and now I forget what it was.
That's the story of my life, actually.
I just should have written it down. How do you feel about the state of the world right now?
I'm disgusted. It's another thing that has been incredibly hard is like, okay, do I even want kids? Do I want to bring kids here against their will? Like, and absolutely no fault to the people that do end up having kids, like 1,000%. Like, it's what humans do, you know what I mean? Like, it's very innate. But the way that I am and the way that I've been raised and the way that my father is, that's already, like I said, I don't want to put that on a kid, and I'm going to have to work really hard to not put that on a kid, but that's in my control. A genocide going on in 2025 is not in my control. Bombing Venezuela is not in my control. Canoodling with Putin is not, and like the right-wing movement in Germany, what the hell are we doing? And like the price gouging of grocery stores and the inflation and like deliberately disenfranchising poor people to make rich people more money. It's always been that way, but it's so bad. It's so bad right now. Why did I go to the grocery store to make chili and buy a bunch of off-brand cans of beans and it cost me $80? Why? Like, it's gross, and people are so complacent, and it's exactly, they've got us, like, all these systems have got us exactly where they want us, and we're just complacent and meek, and we just put up and shut up and take it. We roll over and take it, and we could French them, we could French Revolution them, like, the French knew what they were doing, and it was for less. Like, this is crazy, and there's no end in sight. Like, people are mad. Everyone's mad. All of us are mad. All of my friends and the people like me that I know are mad. But we won't do anything about it. Like, I'm not... Like, I go to protests, and I'll go to a rally. I'm down. Every time. And I'm poor, but, like, when I'm a little less poor, I'll donate to charity. Like, hell, I looked at, like, ways to get over to Palestine in the middle of the war, and the whole internet was basically like, girl. Like, I just want change, and I'm ready to do what needs to be done to do it, but I'm one bitch, you know what I mean? Like, and Greta Thunberg, everyone hates her right now, and, like, that's where we're at. This girl has put all of her heart and soul into trying to make positive change, and everyone hates her for it. That's where we're at. This anti-intellectual, hyper-conservative traditionalism, 40s propaganda is back and better than ever. And, like, that's where we're at. Like, I don't even know what to do with that. I don't even know how to be about that. Like, it's so whack to me. And then I'm the crazy one at Christmas.
Have you got any thoughts about what you, like, you spend a lot of time thinking about what you can do or what people can do. Any guesses? Like, what do you settle on? I imagine you probably do what I do, which is argue back to this is where I started. Argue back to where
100%.
I started.
and the stuff that used to work doesn't work anymore. Getting 500,000 signatures doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Emailing your government doesn't work anymore. Your MP, it doesn't work anymore. They don't care. They don't give a fuck. So all the stuff that used to make change doesn't anymore. And that was our power. And we've given that away. Because the second they stopped listening to us, we should have been outside their fucking door. Because they work for us. We live in a democracy. That's important.
Yeah. Do you believe that we still live in a democracy?
No! Absolutely not. But why doesn't anyone care? And like,
why doesn't anyone care? What do you think?
I think it's apathy. I think it's being so disenfranchised.
Yeah.
Being so powerless. Which we did to ourselves, by the way.
Yeah.
That like, I'm almost there where I agree with them that there's no point in caring. Because how the hell did we end up here? And unless we can get this anti-intellectual traditionalism made up bullshit, unless we can get these people on board, we're not going anywhere. Because these people are all the upper class white men that have all the fucking power still. And everyone would love to argue with me about how, oh, we have equality now, women can vote. A girl just got sledgehammered to death at her welding job at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Equality where?
Because she looked at a guy funny.
He
Yeah.
asked her out and she said no. Like, I have no idea what we can do. And I would love to know. And I would love someone to tell me, honestly, at this point, because I'm done being the one that cares. But everyone being disenfranchised and everyone deciding, it was like when like recycling was really big and everyone started recycling and the recycling program started to work.
Yeah.
But now if you tell someone to recycle, like this
It doesn't work.
It's not going to
We know that it doesn't work. It just
Or
ends
like-
up on a boat floating around in the Atlantic and nobody wants
or
it.
me taking the bus, that's not going to make a difference. It's always that I'm not going to make a difference. I'm not going to make a difference. Everyone thinks that.
Yeah.
Now, no shit. Because you all think that. Like, we have no community anymore because of this shit. We have no sense of connection because of this shit. Like, we're so disconnected from ourselves and our planet and our government that's supposed to work for us and everything it's all wrong. Like, it's all wrong.
Now, what do you say to the Christian folks who say that everything that you're talking about is because of secularism, and that if we went back to religion, that all this would be fixed?
Tell me why so many Christians voted for Trump. Like,
well, Trump said things are broken and he was going to fix it. The trick is that
but then he fixed it exactly how they wanted him to fix it.
He fixed it for him.
I'm so convinced that there is no Christianity left. And these people that call themselves... Because Christianity, if you actually look at what Christianity is supposed to be, like, removed from all this political shit and removed from, like, everyone trying to control each other and, like, if you look at what Christianity could be, it could be beautiful. And it could be wonderful, and it could bring people together and create community and help people. Like, that's what it's supposed to be. Like, to me, that's what a Christian is. Christianity, to me, is not holding women under your thumb. It's not telling people what they can do with their bodies. It's not any of what it is right now.
Yeah, control and coercion.
It's all control, and it's male-centered, and it's made to hold people down, and I think since Christianity is so dominant in the West, and all of this shit is happening right now, how... If we can blame a lack of Christianity for this happening, but Christianity is dominant in the West, how can we not blame Christianity for it happening at the same time?
Yeah.
Like, it could go either way.
Yeah.
So the Christians that are pissed that their that everyone is so, secular now. Do something then. Like, be a Christian. Donate to your community. Create community. Like, do what Christians do. Reach out to people. Change shit that you want to change. Not the evil shit. Don't impose abortion laws on women. Change real stuff that Jesus would have cared about. Because Jesus would have slept on a park bench with a homeless person, not tried to kick them off the bench. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's completely lost all of its true value and just turned into more control me please, I'm gonna roll on my back. Like, it, I don't know.
Do you think things are worse now than they have ever been?
I feel like everyone from every generation has thought that.
Yeah. And we talk about the good old days.
Yeah, and we talk about, oh, this new generation sucks the most because of this.
Yeah.
But, like, yes and no. Because, like, we let Auschwitz go on. The West did.
Mm-hmm.
We knew what was happening to a certain extent. Propaganda worked a lot better.
Yeah.
Right, because we didn't live in the information age.
Yeah.
Propaganda worked a lot better, but we knew. And we let that happen. So, it's still kind of just kind of the same shit over and over again.
I think I was trying to explain to my kids the other day how when I was a kid going through school, we were taught this is all in the past. Sexism was in the past. Racism was in the past. The wars were in the past. We're better now. We know better now. And then as I've gotten older, I realized that was a lie. It was just hiding. The racists were hiding. The sexists were hiding. It wasn't popular to express those opinions, so people kept them to themselves. And then when Twitter came along and people started expressing their opinions, then we saw actually the world isn't better than it was.
Absolutely. And we see it now.
So I wasn't prepared for this fight.
No.
I thought this fight was fought. I thought it was over.
I know. And we see it now. I've noticed, I'm sure everyone on the planet has noticed that Canadians have always been a little racist. Like, it's just in our nature, I guess. We're just open to being disgusting. Okay, cool. That's one conversation. That immigration boom, that little immigration boom that we had under the previous prime minister, oh my god, are people racist? Oh my god. And like, I knew people, I knew they were, but this like openness to just say the most vile, disgusting, inhuman shit to these other people, that's a person that you're talking to. And then, like, the slave trade, how do you think that, they spoke to them like that? That's how they spoke to them.
Yeah.
And you claim you're better than that? You're not. You can't. You can be upset at your politicians. You can be upset at the housing crisis. You can be upset at all that. The immigrants are just people doing what people do. They're not evil. They're not doing something to you. They didn't do it. They didn't create the housing crisis. They wanted a better life. So they came here, and now you're going to treat them like that? Ew! Yuck! Like, and that's what I mean. Like, it just keeps going. We never learn. We never learn from anything. Like, ew. I
was thinking I want someone to make a version of The Sound of Music where when the Von Trapp family gets over the Alps and into another country, they get arrested and sent to an El Salvadorian prison.
Yeah, you know. I think it'd be more accurate. Biblically accurate Sound of Music. Good Lord.
All right. I think that's enough. Is there anything more that you feel like you want to say?
No, I think I yapped enough. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for...
This was fun.
Thank you for joining me. I'm very appreciative because I'm still stumbling through this, so it's good to have someone that is... I know that you're comfortable with being on the internet and that kind of thing, so I know if I fuck it up...
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't think you will.
Cool.
I think it will be very cool.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
now I gotta turn all this stuff off. So I've decided to call this section of my podcast the post-mortem, which is a term that comes from, I know it from when I used to be in theater, and it was what we would do after sort of a dress rehearsal. We would sit down and we would talk about it, but I think it originally comes from medicine. I'm not really sure. So my post-mortem is where I'm going to talk about the conversation that we have just had. In some cases, there will be fact-checking, because I know that a lot of people are going to say things that aren't necessarily true, and I want to make sure that I am not putting information out into the world that hasn't been fact-checked. But I also don't want to be correcting people in the moment and telling them that they're wrong, because if they believe that something is true, that's what informs their worldview and their actions. And what we're doing here is trying to understand people's worldviews and people's actions. So I don't want to get into arguments with people, but I also want to make sure that I'm being responsible with the platform that I have. But in this one, there's not really that many facts. I don't think that I can fact check. I'll have to rewatch it just to make sure. But I do have some thoughts about the conversation and about Cali and about the life that she has had and the way that she sees the world. My first thing is I find it so interesting that she had so many bad things to say about herself, and how interesting that it is. I only really know Cali in passing. We work for the same person. So we see each other sort of, at the beginning of the shift or an end of a shift, or, as we're two ships passing in the night. And I have always felt quite insecure around her. Her laugh is so big and so confident that it just gives her a sort of a strength, and it makes her seem like she's really rooted and really firm and really confident. So it's so funny how much, your external opinion of someone is so disjointed from their internal opinion of themselves. I found that very interesting. The other thing I found very interesting was that despite the fact that she has had such a negative experience with the trans person that was so close to her in her life, she hasn't taken that negative experience with that trans person and translated it to all trans people. She hasn't taken that one single example and said, well, that represents trans people, and now I don't trust trans people. And I think that that's a beautiful quality. It is such a temptation for us to want to put people in boxes and to judge everyone in that box with the same brush. And I think it's so beautiful that she doesn't do that. The other thought that I really have watching this interview again is how interested I am in seeing how my interviewing technique evolves as I do more interviews. Of course, I'm going to become more confident the more I do this, and I'm going to find questions that work and find what questions don't work. As I was editing the interview, there were so many things that I wish I had asked in addition to what I already asked. Obviously, I can't have an interview that goes on forever. I'm never going to be able to ask all the questions that I want to, but I really, I'm interested to see how my technique will evolve. And I'm also interested to see how my technique will change when I'm interviewing someone who has a very different worldview from mine. I don't agree with everything that Cali said, but I do agree with a lot of it. We do have a very similar perspective, and I think it's because we have both had difficult lives and done lots of traveling. And I think those two things together really kind of feed into the way that you see the world. I did spend a lot of time, sort of smiling and nodding. And I tell myself that I was smiling and nodding because that's a good listening skill. But it's also possible that I'm just smiling and nodding because I agree. Although sometimes I'm smiling and nodding when I don't agree. So I'm very interested to see how my interviews change when I'm interviewing people that I disagree with strongly. I tell myself that I have a lot of empathy and compassion and that I can see the world from anyone's perspective. But at the same time, sometimes
people's perspectives are hurtful to people that I love. And it's a lot harder to be compassionate and empathetic to someone who is being hurtful to people that I love. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm really glad to have you guys here. I'm always happy to have your constructive criticism. That's a reminder that constructive criticism is criticism about something that I am capable of doing differently. If it's not something that I can do differently, then it's just criticism, and you can keep that opinion to yourself. And there's one other thing that as I was editing this podcast, I realized that I don't have another podcast lined up. I should probably really do this 2 weeks ahead and always be working everything 2 weeks ahead. I probably should have had a few in the bag before I started uploading them, but now I'm on the train. There's no stopping it. So I'm kind of in a bit of a press to get another interview lined up. So if there's no podcast next week, you'll know that it's because I do not have my act together. That's it. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been wonderful having you, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Hey, you beautiful light.